If we are thinking about, getting started and getting ready to take your MTEL, we always like to set expectations at the very beginning. So, what does your course load look like this semester if you're still in an educator prep program, whether it's undergrad or grad? Or if you are working in the fields, is this your first year teaching on an emergency license, maybe? What do you have outside of work and school responsibilities? How will you be making time to study? And then really getting into what are the best ways for you to study for this test? Do you like to take practice test questions again and again and, see what you're getting right, what you're getting wrong, analyze the questions themselves and your answers? Or we have a lot of students who come to us and say, "Oh, I just like to listen to something," or I'll watch and listen to a YouTube video tutorial. Or some students make a million flashcards and they bring them with them everywhere that they go. So thinking about what are the ways that you will be preparing for the test, when, how, all of those things as you're getting ready. And if you're thinking about specifically retaking an MTEL, you're going to want to really hone in on what did you do to prepare previously. I can't tell you how many times I've had teachers come to me and honestly say, I did nothing. And that's okay if that's what you did. Georgia and I have walked into MTELs blindly, as well. So it's okay if you did very little or whatever you did the first time around. You just want to think about what worked, what didn't work, what did you feel good about, how long did it take you to prepare? A lot of teachers will cram the week before, or they don't put in any time and then they do a million practice tests. So maybe adjusting. It's really just a matter of honing in on what exactly did you do, what needs to change for you to be successful the next time around. And usually it's just a few tweaks to get you there. What worked well for you? So maybe you're looking back and you're like, okay, cramming wasn't the best thing, but I really liked doing a lot of practice test questions. Great. Then you can hone in on other states and give yourself double time next time. And what would you change next time? Being honest with yourself. I need more time. I need much more time than we think. We always tell students, however much time you think you need, give yourself a few extra weeks because life happens. Sometimes booking with the testing center can be complex. You get sick. So many things happen in the meantime. So just being honest with yourself about that. In terms of a timeline, this is one of the most popular questions that we get, regardless of the type of test or MTEL that you're about to take. We always say, when would you like to pass the test by? And from whatever date that is, booking a test date, and then you work backwards. So always allow yourself a month or two of buffer just in case you may need to retake it. If you're working with us, you won't need to retake it, but you want to just make sure that you give yourself that buffer room. So say, for example, it's pretty common that educator prep programs have a deadline. You need to complete your communication and literacy. For example, at Leslie, it was before I even entered my graduate program. I needed to have those tests done. So I said, okay, I need to have this done by the last day in August. I'm going to take my tests. I think I took them in the spring, but a realistic date, if you're waiting till the last second, would be, end of June, early July, just in case for whatever reason, maybe you missed the test date, maybe you're sick, maybe you have, family things going on. You always want to give yourself more time than you need. And an important reminder is that you need to wait 45 days for your test results from whenever you take it. So when you are looking to take your test, we'll pull up the score report dates and look at your test taking window and encourage you, okay, let's take it on the very last day of your test taking window so that you have the least amount of time to wait for your results. This is one of the most important things, your resources. They need to work for you. So although, a course or a workshop or a seminar that you may have taken might have something to do with, it might have something to do with, doing online self-paced coursework or practice test questions. Ultimately, those things are tools for you, but you need to learn in the way that works best for you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, or I think next actually. But, for example, I had an undergrad class a few years ago. And I remember saying, oh, the other professors recommended this book if you're looking for additional resources outside of the curriculum that I'm providing. And they said, Professor Zupa, we haven't read books in so long, since we were little kids. We've had a Chromebook since we were 8 or 9 years old. I was like, of course they have, so thinking about what resources are realistic for you. Are you realistically going to take around a package of study guides with you? Or are you more apt to pull up a YouTube video and listen to something in the background? So really thinking about that the next time you take your test. Factors to consider. So what was your previous test score report like? Really looking at your objectives, looking at how your practice test results compare to maybe the last time you took it in the testing center. Maybe you've taken the practice test again recently and you're comparing to the last time that you took the test officially. So whatever data you have is going to be important in making a study guide, right? So if you're looking back and you said, okay, I just took the writing test, objectives 7, 8, and 9. Out of objective 7, I got most of the questions, but objective 8, I got least of the questions there. So you're going to spend more time on objective 8. So really taking apart your score report, what objectives are you still feeling unsure about? Zeroing in on those, you can look at the score report on the last page of every practice test, like we showed up at the beginning, and practice those specific questions that are linked to those objectives. And then we can help you find additional questions to practice the ones that you're still having trouble with. And then obviously thinking about factors to consider. What deadlines do you have? So unfortunately, right now, we're working with a lot of teachers that are on a deadline for their job, an April, May, or June deadline, where they have to have this passed in order for their emergency license. So just making sure, give yourself as much time as you can. That's always what we advocate for.